right, listen, guys, we got a bunch of stuff that we're going to talk about here today. But before we get to our main topics, which are, of course, selected by you guys, there's a couple things off the top we're going to start here with. And the first thing is this. There were a couple of new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies that came out in the last couple of years. And I remember when they first announced them, and they were going to be produced by Platinum Dune, which is Michael Bay's thing. So everybody freaked out at first, saying, don't let Michael Bay touch the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And, of course, he wasn't actually directing the films. He was producing them. And I'll tell you what, this is one of the 5 or 6 movies that I saw coming and thought, this is a terrible idea. And then the first one came out, and I really was quite charmed by it. I actually quite liked Tony Shalhoub doing the voice of Master Splinter and all that kind. I was actually quite charmed by it. Then they announced that they're doing a sequel. And they got one of my favorite TV guys, Stephen Amell, from Arrow, was going to be in it playing Casey. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, this is going to be great. And it was awful. Not only was it awful, it completely flopped at the box office, made a lot less money. And so there went that. However, the producers of those first 2 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies, who, by the way, are also the producers of the Jack Ryan television series and of A Quiet Place, they were just recently talking. Their names are Bradley Fuller and Andrew Form. And they were being interviewed on the red carpet, and they confirmed they are, number 1, rebooting a live-action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And number 2, we ain't going to have to wait till 2023 like Matt Reeves' Batman. They're apparently going to go into production near the end of this year. So, Robert, let me ask you this. Is it, number 1, is it a good idea at all for them to reboot this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle things? And number 2, what do you think about this timetable? They could actually be getting this thing in motion by the end of the year.
Well, see, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles I have a weird relationship with because I read the original comics when they came out, and they were basically...
The black and white original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comics are the greatest things ever. No incarnation has ever come close.
No, and they were these very witty... It was a parody comic that was sort of sending up Frank Miller's Ronin back in the day, and what the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have become is very different from how they started.
Yes.
Now, look, you gotta love 4 characters that are turtles on the half shell that are named after painters.
Yes, famous
so at
artists.
least kids are learning their art history. I like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The 3 previous live action films from the New Line years, I did not like the last Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, but I have to say, I like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I just like them. And if they come up with a movie that's good, I mean, I think Into the Spider-Verse is going to set the tone from now on about what you can do with movies like this.
I hope not.
Well, look,
I don't want one formula ever to take precedence.
No. I don't mean it like that. But in terms of the fact that the creativity, I think people can start thinking beyond the box. And I think if we can see the kind of creativity that's in every frame of Into the Spider-Verse and bring that kind of verve and that energy and that excitement to moribund franchises like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
so
look,
bring it on.
I have never liked the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles post the original black and white comics, because I'll tell you what, for those of you who don't remember them, the original black and white Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comics, and this isn't about, I don't like anything that's not the original. That's not what this is about, but they were dark.
Oh, yeah.
They were violent. Like the internal monologues like Donatello would have were like, they were nightmarish kind of things about, I'm going to do this.
Oh, yeah.
Like
they were very adult.
They were not pizza-loving, skateboard-riding cowabunga dudes that they later morphed into, and that's fine. But again, like I said, I was very pleasantly surprised by that first one that put out by Platinum Dunes. I just found it a little more, no, not a little more, a hell of a lot more charming than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And then the second one became what I thought the first one would be and just completely went off the rails and was terrible. But hey, if you're somebody, I like the idea of rebooting it, because look, you clearly went in the wrong direction with the last one with the sequel. If you're going to do Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles again, and let's face it, you have to because it's too popular of an IP, it's a good move to reboot rather than just do, like, say, part 3 at this point.
I agree.
All right, well, listen, the second thing off the top